Aye, behold, I've charted our noble voyage upon this grand map. Every tide, every tale, every twist of fate, immortalized in ink.
Why is there a drawing of a giant whale in the middle of Makkah?
That, my fine feathered friend, is clearly the Kaaba. Can ye not see the resemblance?
Resemblance! The Kaaba is a cube! This looks like it's about to swallow a prophet whole.
It's kind of cute, though. Look, I made sound effects for it.
Oh dear, oh dear. We're supposed to be remembering things properly, not inventing sea monsters in holy places.
Mark me words, history always looks better with a bit of flair. A whale in Makkah, a camel on a mountain, a seagull on every page. 'Tis the way of true storytelling.
Uncle Sohail, you also drew yourself fighting a lion on top of the Kaaba.
Aye, and a mighty battle it was. The lion roared, I roared louder.
Ah, don't do that. My poor feathers nearly flew off.
Oh no, you tore the map!
Aye, well, maps are overrated anyway. Best to keep the tales in one's heart.
Or at least in someone else's handwriting.
At least my handwriting doesn't look like a chicken tap-danced on parchment.
Mirage Digital presents The Amazing Stories with Zaki the Hoopoe. Season 2 Special. The Journey So Far. Salam, my amazing friends. It's me, Zaki the Hoopoe, your fluttering storyteller. Oh, tonight is different. Tonight we are not soaring into a brand new tale. No, no, no. We are pausing, perching, and remembering the incredible journey we've had together.
Wait, what?
What do you mean, what?
You promised! We were finally going to hear the Night of Hijra. I've been waiting, like, forever. And now you're saying we have to wait again?
Aye, lass, patience is a sailor's compass. Besides, what's another tide or two before the big storm?
Storm? I don't want another storm. I want the story.
Nunu, I know. But before we set sail into the Hijra, we must look back at the voyage so far. Every wave, every step, every lesson has been leading us there.
So it's like one of those previously on things?
Aye, but with more squawking and better maps.
Tonight is a night of reflection, my friends. A chance to see how every trial and triumph was preparing the way for Islam to shine brighter. And when we're done, oh yes, then we'll be ready for the great night, the Hijra. Long before the first revelation, long before the Quran was recited, the Prophet began his life as a humble orphan in Makkah. His father had passed away before he was born, and when his mother died, he was only 6 years old.
That's so sad. Being so little and already losing both parents.
But the lad was tougher than any sailor, raised first by his grandfather Abd al-Muttalib, then by his uncle Abu Talib. Family kept him afloat like a sturdy ship in stormy waters.
Yes, Sohail, and Abu Talib cared for him with great love, even when times were hard. As a young boy, he became a shepherd. Do you remember that story, Nunu? How he cared for the sheep with patience and kindness?
Yes!
Exactly, a shepherd's patience, a shepherd's responsibility. That was his first training for leadership.
Bah! Any sailor knows patience too. Try waiting 3 days for a fish that never bites.
But did you ever rescue a lost fish, Uncle Sohail?
That's beside the point.
And as he grew, he traveled with Abu Talib on a caravan journey to Syria. There, a Christian monk named Bahira recognized signs of prophethood in the young boy.
So even when he was just 12, people could already see he was special?
Yes, Nunu. It was like a light that could not be hidden.
I knew I saw a glow once. Course, it might have been a lantern in a fish market.
Not quite the same, Sohail. And as a young man, he became known as Al-Amin, the trustworthy. In every trade, in every deal, people trusted him. It was honesty that built his name, not wealth.
That's when Lady Khadijah noticed, right? She heard about his honesty in business.
Yes, indeed. She saw his truthfulness, his trustworthiness, and she offered him her hand in marriage. Their marriage became a bond of love, trust, and support for the message to come.
Aye, the greatest partnership since sails and wind.
And with the birth of Ali, raised in the Prophet's own household, the stage was set for the years ahead. So you see, my friends, before revelation ever came, Allah was shaping his life through sorrow, through shepherding, through honesty, preparing him to carry the greatest trust in the world. And then the night arrived, a night unlike any other. Rasulullah sat in the stillness of Cave Ḥirāʻ, heart turned to Allah, when suddenly, Iqra, read.
That's it! The very first word of the Quran!
The Prophet shook with awe. Again and again Jibril commanded, Iqra, until finally the words of light were recited, words that would change the world forever. His chest was heavy, his soul overwhelmed. He came down the mountain, his heart pounding, and when he reached home, Khadijah wrapped him in a cloak. And she said, by Allah, he will never disgrace you. You help the poor, you honor the guest, you carry the burdens of the weak.
Truer words I've never heard. She steadied him like the strongest anchor in a storm.
So, she believed right away? Just like that?
Yes, Nunu, the very first believer. And soon, the young boy in the Prophet's care, Ali, barely more than a child, stood and said with courage, I believe too.
Even though he was so young? That's so cool! Like, kids can be heroes too.
Exactly. And then came Abu Bakr. After him, more people followed one by one. The spark was growing. But in those first days, they kept to the shadows. They prayed in secret, whispering Quran in hushed voices, afraid of the Quraysh who despised the message.
So it was like a secret club, but with Quran instead of handshakes?
A fellowship tighter than any crew I've sailed with, bound not by ropes or sails, but by faith.
Yes, Sohail. Faith bound them together. They would gather at the house of Al-Arkam, learning the words of Allah in secret.
That must have been scary. What if someone found out? Would you still keep going?
That's the question, isn't it? To believe even when it's hard. To hold on to truth even when it's hidden. They chose to keep going. Until at last, the command came. Proclaim openly what you are commanded. The time for whispers was over. Islam would now stand in the open beneath the blazing sun of Makkah. When Islam was spoken aloud in Makkah, the Quraysh grew furious. They shouted, they mocked, they struck. For those who believed, the days grew darker. Bilāl was dragged across burning sand, a stone pressed upon his chest. Yet every time he opened his mouth, he cried only, Aḥad! One.
But he could have just stayed quiet. Why did he keep saying it if it hurt so much?
Because, Nunu, when you know the truth, your heart will not let you hide it. His body was chained, but his faith was free.
By the crashing waves, I have weathered storms, but I've never seen courage like that.
Others suffered too. Ammar ibn Yasir was beaten until his body gave way. His mother, Sumayya, stood firm until she was struck down, the very first martyr of Islam. His father Yasir soon followed.
They died just because they believed in Allah?
Yes, they gave their lives but gained Jannah. Their sacrifice lit the path for those who came after.
It twists me heart, it does. To think faith could cost ye everything.
And so some believers fled across the sea to Habasha, Abyssinia. The king there, Al-Najashi gave them shelter. At last, they could pray without fear.
So there were safe places. Even just a few?
Yes, Nunu, Allah always makes a way, even when it seems there is none.
Aye, the first Hijra, I'd have gladly captained their voyage myself.
I think the Red Sea was just fine without a squawking seagull, Captain. But for those who stayed, Quraysh cast a cruel boycott on the Prophet's family. For 3 long years, the Prophet and his family were trapped in a valley. Food was very little. Stomachs ached. At night, children cried because they were hungry.
3 years? I don't think I could last even 3 days without food.
They endured with patience, for Allah was with them. Hardship is never forever. Then came the year of sorrow. Abu Talib, the Prophet's protector and uncle, passed away. And soon after, Khadijah, his heart's comfort, returned to Allah.
He lost both his protector and his wife? That's so much sadness.
Lose an anchor and sail in the same storm. And still, he kept going. By the stars, that takes more than strength.
In hope, the Prophet traveled to the city of Taif, seeking people who would like to learn about Islam. But they rejected him too. They mocked, they chased him, they threw stones at him until his blessed feet bled.
How could they do that to someone so kind?
Even then, he prayed not for revenge, but for mercy upon them. That is the heart of a prophet. Through it all, the Quran itself shone as a living miracle. Its words flowed like rivers, more powerful than any sword, more beautiful than any poem.
Aye, not just ink on parchment, waves strong enough to carve stone.
And then Allah granted a miracle beyond imagination. Al-Isra wal-Miraj. From Makkah to Bayt al-Maqdis on the back of al-Buraq. Then through the 7 heavens. He met the prophets, he saw Jannah and Jahannam. And above the 7th heaven, Allah gave him a gift for us all. Salah.
Our prayers came from the heavens.
And finally, at Aqaba, a group of believers pledged to protect him. It was the seed of a new home, the promise of Medina.
Aye, a new harbor for a weary ship. By the barnacles of Bahrain, the voyage was about to turn.
The storm had raged long and hard, but at last the dawn of Hijra was close at hand. My dear friends, do you see now how every step of the Prophet's life was guiding us here? Every hardship, every joy, every tear was not wasted. Allah was shaping him feather by feather to carry the weight of Islam.
It's like every story was practice. Like training for the hardest journey.
Exactly, Nunu. Remember in season 1? Prophet Nuh showed us patience, building his ark while people laughed at him. Prophet Ibrahim taught us trust, walking into fire without fear. Prophet Musa showed courage, standing tall before Pharaoh. Each prophet's life was a light, preparing the way for the final messenger.
Aye, storms they faced, storms we've remembered. And now I see it, lad. They weren't just tales for passing time. They were sails catching the wind, bringing us to this very shore.
And season 2, we saw those same lessons come alive in Makkah. Honesty as a merchant, patience as a shepherd, courage when Quraysh mocked. Trust in Allah in the valley of hunger, mercy in Taif when forgiveness was chosen over anger. And through it all, the Quran, the miracle that speaks across time.
But if every prophet had a miracle and Prophet Muhammad had the Quran, does that mean we still get to see the miracle, even today?
That is the gift of the Quran. The miracle is still here. Every time we recite it, every time we hear it, we are holding the same light that first shone in Cave Ḥirā಼.
Aye, no whale-sized miracles or sea-splitting adventures for me, but a book that guides every step. That's a treasure greater than gold. and I say that as one who loves his goldfish.
And so, my friends, here is the greatest lesson. Faith is not only words we say. Faith is patience when life is heavy, courage when fear comes near, honesty when no one is watching, mercy when others are cruel, and trust in Allah. Always, these are the wings that let our hearts soar. And so, my amazing friends, from the very first revelation in Cave Ḥirāʼ, to the Quraysh turning their backs, to the patience of Bilāl, to the tears in Ta'if, to the gift of the Quran and Salah, we have soared through every hardship and every hope. All of it has led to this moment. Next time, we will witness one of the greatest nights in all of history, the Night of Hijra, when Rasulullah slipped past the eyes of Quraysh assassins, left Makkah behind, and began the journey to Medina. A night of danger, a night of courage, a night that would change the world forever.
Finally! The Hijra! I've been waiting, like, all season! I'm not sleeping until we hear it!
Then stay awake, Nunu, for the dawn is almost here.
Aye, mates, sharpen your beaks and stretch your wings, for the tides are turning. We've weathered storms, we've braved deserts, and now, by the barnacles of Basra, we set sail into destiny itself.
This story was produced by Mirage Digital. Voices provided by Wayne Holland as Zaki and Curtis Fletcher as Captain Sohail. Episode written, directed, and edited by Syed Kashef and Atef Hussain. For more content by Mirage Digital, please visit our site at www.mirage.digital.
Content copyright and production copyright 2025 by Mirage Digital.